Okay, let's talk damage report. Finally, we're back from the Kimberley, although you will see some videos pop up about the trip over the coming weeks. But finally got the chance to put the old girl up on the mega lift hoist. I'm going to go around, I'm going to show you exactly how much damage I did to this girl. I was surprised. She still drove me all the way back, but we'll go around and we'll point out a few things. Surprisingly, the front did really well. Love me bull bar. The off-road animal bar is doing absolutely great. I still love it. Number plate got mushed that many times. I'm just sick of basically trying to straighten everything like that. Cracked the windscreen in 2 places. That was more because of rock hits and big impacts on some of the washouts and everything. The cross member underneath the transmission, when we're trying to cross some of the rivers, has been pushed right up, and I've actually bent the cross member up like that. The poor little plate down here has actually been bent, and I've actually had to straighten that up along the track because it was actually up against the transmission and rattling its nut off. Well, I got a crack on the exhaust. All my steering arms, good ones from J-Max, they all went great. There's no problems there. Had a rear pinion seal leak, which seems to have dried up, which makes me think that I've probably got less than adequate oil in the back at the moment. We've actually had to take one of the shocks out. I asked Greg to come under here and have a look and see if he can point out some of the things, and the shock had actually dismounted. Actually, the sleeve had actually come out of the top of one of my conies. I love my conies because they're a nice big 90mm body on them. So I have to probably replace the pair of them. All the axles, this is actually a J-Max wide axle kit. So it's a whole diff housing and everything with the wide axles, so I don't have to run spacers. And I used to run spacers and they were a complete disaster. So I did this, did an amazing job. So it was actually a 10,000k trip. It drove all the way up to Darwin, towing. Then we went into the Kimberley. We did like 15, 16 days, filmed 3 episodes, and they were probably one of the hardest tracks. It was a cast and driven track that hadn't been driven for a couple of years. So it took us ages just to even try and find the track. So continuing, my turbo. Unfortunately, the turbo is leaking like a sieve externally, right? Not that you can see much up there. Try and show me best. Looks like my rear main seal is leaking a little bit. Transmission did great. Got to give it where I can, give it credit where it's due. This one's actually got a big cast aluminium pan on it. She took a couple of hits, big hits, which is why I love the cast pan, because the tin one wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes doing what we were doing, not with all the boulders and everything we were doing. Once again, these are the older style clear view mirrors, not a problem. They worked absolutely beautiful. Yokohamas were absolutely amazing. I still live by these tyres. Love them to death. Now, if I come over here, one of the most worrying points is that, see the big gap between the canopy and the cab? That gap wasn't there. Now, that happened when I had a bit of an accident trying to get out. I was towing. I actually ran out of fuel. You probably all know that. Getting in and out of the car, I'd accidentally hit my knee on the trailer brake, turned the dial right down. Come around, a little bit quick. I'll be honest, I was still only doing about 50 k's an hour. Tried to slow down, obviously 2-ton trailer, couldn't slow down. Because I had so much weight on the back, the front wouldn't nosedive, the ABS went off and that was it. Before you knew it, I was in the washout. When I come out the other side, pulled over and had a look. First thing I saw was the gap between the canopy. Now, to anybody, including me, you'd say that I got a bent chassis. Now, we've put it up on here today so we can actually have a really good look around. And try as we might, we can't feel any bulges in the chassis. It could be stretched, but we've looked and we've looked. And instead, Greg, being our in-house engineer, knew what he was doing. He was running string lines. You actually see, you've got little strings here. Actually running string lines. He puts a magnet there and he measures. What we found is that the canopy chassis, which is the main thing, they're actually bent. So I've actually bent or bowed the canopy floor. What was it, 6mm on this side and 5mm on the other side? Correct, yeah. So much so that the the middle of the rail on the other side, on the canopy, has actually got a big bulge in it, and the string's sticking out about 3 mil. So I'm somewhat relieved. I thought I'd lost the chassis. I know I'm thinking all these thoughts of where can I take it to get it all pinned back and actually all laminated and that. And, you know, can that be done? Is that legal and going to be engineered? I've been told that it can be done. And I was getting all ready to do that, and instead we found out that we've mushed the canopy instead. Now, this has been my trusted canopy for 9 years. So now I've got some hard decisions to make. Do I, don't I? Do I space it? The guy said I can just space it. You're never going to notice. And just reposition the canopy ever so slightly. Or do I get a lighter one? Maybe take some weight off of it. Maybe move the rooftop tent onto the roof of the car instead. We do have some upgrades coming. This car is actually coming off the road for the next 6 months anyway. So I have a brand new Hilux sitting out the front. I'll introduce you to that over the coming week. And that I ordered 4 months ago. And I did that so I had time to actually do the redevelopment. So we're actually redeveloping it. I've obviously got to pull the turbo off. I'm going to have to reseal that. It's leaking externally, but it was also blowing a lot of smoke at some point. It's actually gotten better and better, so I think I've got leaky seals. So I'm thinking about going back to a standard turbo because I want to keep the power down as low as I possibly can. And we'll have a bit of a play around there and see where we go. Internally, everything went really, really well. So cracked windscreen, bent the cross member, done a shocker, canopy's all bent and mushed. All my axles and everything did really, really well. Blew both my low beam light bulb, of all the things to blow. But these are like 100 ups on them. And apparently when you do them, I think on corrugated roads, if you are running them, I think they get a bit warm and that and they just go. It's quite common. I actually carry a spare set of globes. And that was about it. So, done a turbo. Axle's got the drive shaft's got a big gouge in it now. All the bushes that hold all the springs on and everything are all pretty badly squashed. She's had a hard time. 9 really, really hard years. But you know what? I am so proud of this car and what she's done. And we had the big question, do we sell her? Do I start again with a new one? Do I do a different car altogether? And sitting around a campfire with Sean and Graham and that, it was very quickly decided that no one's going to accept anything else but the original one. Not only that, you really want to buy a brand new car and then put it through the same torment that I've done with this one, you know. So we've decided that we are going to rebuild her. She'll be coming back out. You'll see some videos and bits and pieces come out of us rebuilding her. So we're going to be playing with changing the suspension, obviously something with the canopy. Obviously the turbo's got to come out. Never mind the development upgrade that we're doing, you know, as part of the development here at Wholesale Automatics. That'll all go through. About the only thing that I won't be touching is my bull bar. Love it to death. Powder coated over the little bits of rust and all the things, and exactly how, you know, I asked the guys at Off-Road Animal to do it, and I love it. I adore it. And I had to push some trees over. There's not even a dent in this thing. Friggin' amazing. Love it. So keep staying tuned, right? And if you see this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, put the bell on, notification bell and whatever else and that. And we'll keep you informed. There's one thing we're not fixing. All the dents on the cabin as they are now, they will remain. Until next time, guys, I'll see you then.